Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is Indy Fanatics, your home for IndyCar content with weekly podcasts and feature videos. Welcome back to the channel, guys, and we are here for episode 6 of the IndyCar Podcast. Obviously, this weekend it's here, the season finale, which obviously is always a tinge of sadness.
Yeah.
Because you're like, yes, we finally get to see the 15th year in a row that the title has gone down to the last race to be decided. You're like, this is exciting. We get to see a new champion. Well,
no,
not a new champion, but a 6-time or a 3-time champion, I suppose, on that aspect with Josef Newgarden and Scott Dixon, the guys in play. But it is exciting. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah.
But then we're going to have to wait 5 months till it all starts over again.
Which I'm pretty sure is again back in St Petersburg.
Season opener.
The season opener. St. Pete, Florida. Might as well just camp there for 5 months, guys, because that's where you're going to be starting off the 2021 season. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, the main part of this podcast, we are going to be focusing on the season finale. We're going to be focusing on that Scott Dixon, Josef Newgarden, who's going to win the championship this weekend. We'll give you an interesting percentage on Josef Newgarden's chances of winning this weekend.
Wait, will we?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, trust me.
Oh,
there will be. And then we're going to give the run through of the possibilities of what could happen. And obviously, we have our feature video this week. We'll be looking at the point scoring system. We'll do a history of the point scoring system within IndyCar over its thing, and obviously, the points and how it can fall into place this weekend. Obviously, Renus VK, we spoke about the rookies last week in last week's podcast, so check that out if you haven't already. But he pretty much is a formality to wrap up Rookie of the Year this weekend, points-wise. But it's going to be an interesting, and a guy who's not a rookie, but first full-time season in IndyCar, Pato O'Ward. Can he get third ahead of Team Penske's Will Power in the championship?
And Colton Herta.
Yeah, exactly, for Andretti Autosport.
And Power's 5th. So he's in a sandwich and he needs to become the topping.
Yeah,
rather than the
for
filling.
Arrow McLaren, that would be an incredibly impressive
first season.
It certainly would do for Arrow McLaren, St Petersburg. But yes, let's get into it. Let's get into that title fight. Scott Dixon versus Josef Newgarden. Are you ready for the stats?
Yeah, give me this percentage. I never knew that existed.
There is a percentage that Stephen didn't know about.
No. Obviously, Scott Dixon has a 32-point lead going into the final race. So, what is Josef Newgarden's percentage of success?
Well, his percentage of success this weekend is just 1%.
1%?
Yep. There's a 1% of the scenarios result in Newgarden winning the title from 19,872 different scoring scenarios for both title contenders.
Sorry?
That is from the official NTT IndyCar Series 2020 Championship. It's on the app. It's there. There are 19,872 different scenarios, and out of all of them, Newgarden wins in 1% of them, because obviously there are no double point scoring. There's no double points in the season finale, which has been ever since 2015. I presume it will return for 2021, but considering that this has been a weird mashup of a season, they didn't want to put too much emphasis on only a 14-race calendar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Jeez, 1%.
The head-to-head, 2020 wins. Dixon has 4 to Newgarden's 3. The top 5s, they both have 8 apiece over this season. The top 10s, Scott Dixon has 12 in opposition to Newgarden's 8. Scott has led 340 laps, but interestingly enough, when Newgarden wins, he dominates. 434 laps led. Best St. Pete finish. Scott Dixon has never won at St. Petersburg, Florida, and has come second 4 times. And Josef Newgarden won last year. Obviously,
to
if
take
you look,
the title.
Follow us on Instagram. There will be a link to our Instagram account on there. On 425 followers, I think we are. So thank you for all the support on Instagram on there. But yes, when we gave some stats about St. Petersburg going into the weekend, Team Penske won 9 out of all of the St. Petersburg ones, and Josef Newgarden has won 3. Helio Castro Neves has won 3. Will Powers won 2. Juan Pablo Montoya won 2. It's basically a Team Penske stronghold. So if there was a race that they could have wanted for the last race of the season to have a shot at a title, it probably would be St. Petersburg.
But Dixon could always break the pattern. There we go, and win his first St. Petersburg. Obviously, nothing's ruled out.
No,
but clearly Newgarden's only 1% chance, because all Scott Dixon needs to do is finish 9th or better, and regardless, he wins.
Well, that probably moves us on quite nicely to the next bit of the podcast. Well, obviously, Stephen is going to run through the different scenarios.
Yes.
For how Scott Dixon or Josef Newgarden can win the 2020 title. So, Stephen, over to you.
Well, I'll start with that one. He only needs to finish... I'll get my stats up. He only needs to finish 9th or better, and he wins the title. What do you think his average finishing position is at St. Petersburg?
Well,
from 15 races.
This is technically cheating because I know it.
Okay.
It's like 8.42, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, 8.4. I'm sure there's probably 2 in there. And his overall average finishing?
At St. Petersburg.
No, in all the races.
This season?
In car and IndyCar. So in his career.
7.6.
So in theory, he just has to have an average day, and he'll have the title wrapped up, regardless of how Josef does. But if he doesn't have an average day, well, there's quite a few scenarios here. Okay, so
we'll go through the top 5 scenarios.
If Josef Newgarden wins from pole and leads the most laps, Dixon has to be 9th or better. If Newgarden wins while leading the most laps, so not the pole, then Dixon wins if he finishes 9th or better, or 10th being on pole and leading at least 1 lap, or 11th being on pole and leading a lap.
Now, obviously, why there are those scenarios for those who don't know, obviously I presume a lot of IndyCar fans know, you get a bonus point for pole, you get a bonus point for leading a lap, and if you lead the most laps, you get 2 bonus points.
On top of your points tally already. Okay, so if Newgarden wins from pole, leading at least 1 lap, then Dixon only has to finish 10th or better, 11th with a 1 lap led, or 12th or 13th, or leading the most laps. So it's getting even less and less likely. Because all you have to do to lead a lap is just stay out longer on a stint, and you pretty much got a point in the bag, which we may see if Dixon gets a bit desperate. But if Newgarden wins, leading at least 1 lap, then all Dixon has to do is finish at 11th or better. There's quite a few different scenarios there, like 12th or better if he's got pole or at least 1 lap, and then 13th from pole and led a lap.
Well, it almost sounds like there's 19,872 different possibilities for Josef Newgarden to win or Scott Dixon to win in this situation. But article was taken from Indy Star. Obviously, Nathan, who writes for them there, wrote through all these different scenarios. We'll leave a link in the description down below to the article if you want to be a proper stato and get fully in depth so you know all the scenarios going into, or at least all the most likely scenarios.
Shall I give a couple more?
Go a couple more,
so
just to round off.
Newgarden finishes second, then all Dixon has to do is finish 19th or better, which is getting ridiculous at this point. Sorry, 18th or better. And then if Newgarden finishes third, Dixon has to finish 23rd or better, considering there's only going to be 25 cars.
So essentially, what we're saying in today's video is basically Newgarden has to win St Pete to have any real chance of winning the title.
It's a great one. If Newgarden finishes third while leading the most laps, all Dixon has to do is start his engine. He can instantly crash out on the start line, but he'll win the championship.
Oh, do you reckon he'd just put it in Josef Newgarden's hands? Go on then, Joseph. Go and win.
Then anything below third, Dixon just wins.
Crazy. So, look, the odds are heavily stacked in Scott's favour. He's been incredible this 2020 season, and for a long while, it's been just like, oh, we just assumed we'd get here and Scott would have won. Yeah. So it's all credit to Josef Newgarden that we are in the season finale, and he's actually got a shot, and like we've said there, a very slim shot of gaining the title, but still a shot nonetheless. And obviously when the pressure is on, obviously in double points finish scenarios, but it was only a couple of years back that Scott Dixon overturned a 47-point difference, I believe back in 2015, to Juan Pablo Montoya in the final race to secure the title. So obviously that was hugely impressive.
That was back when they had double points.
Back when they had double points. With no double points in the finale this year, it does make the scenario a lot more difficult. And if Newgarden does somehow find some way to win the championship from here, incredible. Will easily be his best championship victory.
Yeah.
Easily would be it. And
but maybe he just likes taking breaks in between his championships.
Maybe. Although, technically for the last years, it is due a Scott Dixon one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's 2017 Joseph, 2018 Scott, 2019 Joseph, 2020
Scott.
Easy.
There we go.
And then we know that Josef Newgarden is going to win in 2021.
IndyCar, so predictable.
Oh, God, so boring. But yeah, it is an exciting finale, and that's the most exciting. But I think there's going to be intrigue all the way through the field. Obviously, where you finish in the points doesn't matter too much. There is payouts, obviously, for sponsorships where you kind of finish there. Teams and constructors are going to be wanting to do well in terms of their performances. I think the real key battle, which will be great, obviously Colton Herta's coming, he's been consistent and in great form at this back end of the season. Pato O'Ward had a pretty strong start to the season, got some really strong podiums in the middle part of that, was the best rookie at the Indy 500 as well. Really impressive season from Pato. If he could get third, I think that would be the most impressive out of them.
Yep, although McLaren dropped off a bit and so struggling a bit. But yeah, they had a decent second race at Road America. And at the road course at Indianapolis.
Yeah, and Team Penske, Will Power, Will's had a fantastic end of the season since winning that first race at Mid-Ohio. Only a couple of races ago, he's really kind of pushed himself in, and considering how poor a season he's got, if he somehow manages to get P3 in a championship, well, it'll be brilliant for Team Penske in the team championship, and will show also with Team Penske, hey, don't get rid of me yet. I'm a guy who's still here to kind of compete at the top. And
well, he's the only other man other than Newgarden and Dixon to actually win multiple races.
Absolutely. So that's impressive by itself. And being a two-time winner at St. Pete as well, Could you? Well, that's it. I suppose that's the next point. Who's going to win this weekend? Who do you see winning the race? Do you think Josef is going to do everything in his power, win the race to give him a best shot of the title? Or do you think Will Power might do it to finish off his strong one? Or do you think Alexander Rossi finally gets a win in this 2020 season?
I'm going to back Scott.
You're going to back Scott to just go out there and
just win it. Against the run of play, Scott wins it.
In fairness, I think it has only been the second time in his career that it's been like 4 consecutive races where he's finished outside the top 8.
Well, so, we see his average is 7.6.
Yeah, in his entire career, and Scott has had a long career. So to average 7 is incredible by itself. So I think, Scott, there's a real possibility. I see Scott just getting the job done, maybe coming in a 4th to 6th position. I could see him finishing there. So it's comfortable, but he doesn't have to take too many risks.
I says he does it in style, comes first. But who's your race winner then?
My race winner, I just think he's the man in form right now. And I feel he's in a good place. He'll want to kind of put momentum down for the 2021 season. And I think Will Power.
Will Power.
With Josef Newgarden 3rd. Because if he was 2nd, I think they would switch him.
Yeah.
Unless, obviously, it was looking that Scott wouldn't be challenging.
Talking about Scott, so you go for Will Power to win. But what about Scott? Surname, I can't remember.
Scott McLaughlin.
That's the one. Obviously, coming fresh from his Supercar Championship victory in Australia. I know he did have a great Bathurst 5000. But he won the championship. High on confidence. IndyCar debut. How well is he going to do?
That's a big intrigue, actually, because it feels like there's a lot of hype around Scott. So, funnily enough, another Kiwi. If he follows the tradition of the other,
there,
it is. If you come from New Zealand, you're a Scar. I think Scott will do very well.
Yeah.
Actually, I think if he gets a top 10 finish, I think that will be impressive for him, considering how well Team Penske do, but also the experience in that team of Power, Pagenaud, and Newgarden, especially with Newgarden and Power. Well, essentially Pagenaud as well, because they'll all want to beat him so that Penske run 4 cars rather than maybe Power or Pagenaud making way for Scott, because it is assumed that Scott McLaughlin will drive for Team Penske in the 2021 season. Hasn't been confirmed, but it seems silly to fly him all the way over for one race in the season finale if he isn't going to race in the series full time.
He's basically confirmed he's not going back to supercars.
He said, I think he was saying, if that's my career in supercars done, I'm happy.
Yeah, that was it.
I think it was something along those lines. So, yeah, he's actually a very interesting intrigue for that one. And again, probably another one, Sebastian Bourdais and AJ Foyt Racing, to see how he steps up with 2 races under his belt, how he'll do there.
Decent go out in the last 2 races. Qualified well in race 1, not so well in race 2, but did all right.
I believe he's a St Pete winner as well.
There we go.
Potentially, off the top of my head, I might have made that. I seem to remember his name popping up when looking through previous winners. But yeah, I certainly will be interested there. But there's going to be, it's a street circuit. It's going to be tight. It's going to be windy action. There's a championship on the line. There's points on the line for kind of pride in championship position standings. People to finish higher than they've ever done in the championship before. You know, there is a lot at stake here. So I expect the action to be great on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to Sunday season finale. But yeah, that probably rounds off the race preview.
Yeah.
Which then moves us on to probably talking about the one driver, one that was, obviously, if you watched our podcast last week, you would know that I inserted that little bit of we're now about to talk about Helio and Sergio Perez taking the Arrow seat after Oliver Askew was the big news last week, being axed from McLaren. And then Felix Rosenqvist was announced on the day we were releasing the video, and we're like, oh my God, how has this happened? What is going on here? But Felix Rosenqvist to Arrow McLaren SP for the 2021 season.
Great move for Arrow McLaren.
I think it is. A great move for Arrow, a great move for Felix.
And a great move for McLaren and Arrow and Felix. And Rosenqvist. They haven't gone for... Obviously, Rosenqvist is only 29. He's still young talent, so they're still going for a pretty young partnership. I know 29 seems quite old, but IndyCar, it's more of an older... It kind of makes it sound bad.
More of an old man's one. No, there is skill and there is experience within IndyCar. And obviously, you see experience as our key way of saying old. But, you've got the likes... Look, Colton Herta and Rinus VK are kind of against the mould.
Yeah. How
well they're impressing at such a young age. Pato as well, probably, in that aspect. Those guys are real super talented. But, Felix Rosenqvist did his rounds around the European circuit in search of an F1 seat. Ended up getting into IndyCar. And he's impressed in his time in Chip Ganassi. Been a little bit up and down performance-wise. And maybe feared with Jimmy Johnson coming in that Chip Ganassi wasn't maybe going to be that solid of a ride for him, and being proactive and going, I could really make a good place for myself at Arrow McLaren.
Yeah.
And one of, I think, speaking about in pundits and comrades, as guys who've seen them come through, I think Felix Rosenqvist and Pato are two of the most exciting recent young talents come through the sport.
Yeah.
So it's a great lineup. They've still gone for young, and they've gone... Ollie was impressing in his rookie season. The concussion obviously impacted performances, and they've taken a ruthless decision that they think Felix Rosenqvist is going to be the better option.
Yeah, clearly the relationship broke down and went for Felix, which I think should be a good move. Obviously, race winner from this year, snatching it from Pato on the last lap, I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
The penultimate lap?
It was very close to the end, and it was a proper wheel-to-wheel fight at Road America. It was a great lead fight, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then, obviously, with Felix going to McLaren, does that open the door for Oliver to go the other way? Also, you mentioned it last podcast that Oliver does have those links to Chip Ganassi, and Jimmy Johnson won't be doing the oval tracks. So will he share Jimmy Johnson's car?
Or will he go full time and Jimmy Johnson will just be that fourth car, and this is his test year?
Maybe.
In terms of it. It's an interesting one. I think there will be options for Askew, like we said in last week's episode. But if we go extract ourselves out and go, is it necessarily fair to Oliver Askew in his situation? Who right now are better drivers for Arrow McLaren? What's a better lineup? Felix Rosenqvist and Pato O'Ward, or Pato O'Ward and Oliver Askew? It's going to be Pato and Felix Rosenqvist. So they've made a ruthless decision because McLaren want to be competitive at the top. And we presume that means that it's just two cars, but I don't know if they've necessarily ruled out the third seat. So the possibility of when we spoke about it last week, maybe there is still a possibility that we could see a full-time return for Helio and Sergio Perez. Helio would have to find a big sponsorship package, and Sergio would have to exhaust his options in F1 and want to come to IndyCar. But yeah, it would certainly be interesting on that front. But no,
there's a long time between the end of this season and next season.
There certainly is, and we all know that kind of driver markets is like chop and change. It really is a bit mental in the market. But I think that's probably it from us today on the IndyCar. Unless you got anything else to bring up point-wise,
no.
Stephen? No.
Just that 1% chance for Newgarden to win is crazy.
That is mental. But hey, races aren't driven on paper, are they? Until you get on the racetrack, everything started. We will not know until those lights goes out and the final driver crosses the checkered flag, and we won't know the champion until then. Obviously, you might know kind of during it, but it's going to be exciting.
I mean, if Newgarden crashes out, I think you know who the champion is.
Okay, all right, okay. Good point. But anyway, we detract, we move on sideways from that. I think it's going to be a brilliant season finale. Really looking forward to it. Let's hope that IndyCar ends on a high for 2020 and we move into the 2021 season looking forward to some more brilliant IndyCar action with the sport hopefully getting stronger, and we're going to have some exciting lineups starting, or at least people coming in for that 2021 season.
Yeah. So the feature video this week will be looking at the points to give you a bit more of an idea. And then obviously next week we'll be beginning the season review.
It will be.
Digesting the
season.
We'll
do a race review and probably start the season review the week after.
Well, it all begins.
It all begins. So make sure you tune in for that. But guys, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Comment down below with your thoughts ahead of the weekend's action. We're looking forward to having a chat with you guys in the comments. Thank you for all the support we've recently had on the channel as well. Do appreciate it. If you're new around here watching this for the first time or you haven't done so already, what can they do, Stephen?
You can like, subscribe and ding that bell.
Ding it. So that's it from us Indy fans. So for now, keep racing.